Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today, August the 26th, Wednesday, 2026. So, jumping right in, we have about 6 minutes to the open. We have our pre-market 8 a.m. highs and our 8 a.m. lows. We're in the bottom quadrant of that leg. We're below gamma 0 here, which indicates more amplified moves, basically keeping in line with a continuation of the overall trend, which if we go to the 1 hour, overall we're in a downward trend, but we may see some amplified moves to the upside, and then more wick action, up down, and then higher probability down to the downside. As far as an immediate indication, or what we're looking for, is maybe a sweep of these lows. We have these relative equal lows here on the 15-minute. We're below a 15-minute bearish order block. We inversed this 15-minute bullish order block here and kind of been hanging out in this area, probably setting up for a sweep of these lows. I kept this first presented fair value gap from Monday here. That's kind of been an area of interest throughout the week. So tapping into that. I also have a higher time frame PD array, or an optimal trade entry area based on the 1 hour, high and low. So if we go here to the 1 hour, we have our, depending on how we look at it, this could be an exterior high, an exterior low with this interior price movement here, or we could go for this exterior high. Well, let's do it like this. We'll go from here. That's Asia high. And Asia low. Boom. So that would be one way of looking at it, and you'd be in that OTE area where you see price kind of being rejected and resistance. Or we go to this prior day high and this low here. So this would be our extreme low and our extreme high here. And this would kind of be interior price action. That's where I got this hourly OTE area, where it kind of taps into that area and rejects. It's kind of been into this area. It's been respecting this area. So that's why I decided to use this extreme exterior low and this exterior high. I consider this interior price movement. So we're either going to go to the buy side or go to the sell side. And I'll mark this out as sell side. Liquidity. So I like to mark those areas just to see where price reacts. This is based on the Fibonacci golden ratio. So this 062, 079 area, that's where it would be on the hourly. Just a higher time frame confluence. I'm basically referencing the 15-minute and looking at entry on the 1 minute. So right now, what we're looking for is at the open, we got about 2 minutes, is possibly a sweep of these lows, tap into this first presented fair value gap, this OTE area, and as we get to closer to this put wall, maybe a rejection to the upside, looking for those 8 a.m. highs. If we pop to the upside first, Of course, we're looking at when you tap into New York Midnight Open, London High. We have settlement price from yesterday here, which will be the gap. If we open down here, there'll be a new day opening gap to fill. So price may try to shoot there to fill that gap first. But I'm anticipating, I would like to see a sweep to the low first, a push to the low, rejection, and an inversion. I'm looking at this 2-minute gap here that's been respected so far. We're shooting up past consummate encroachment. We see a lot of wick in here. It looks like we finally inversed that 2-minute, shooting to the high at the open and starting to reject off of this negative order block. So it looks like it wants to go to the high first. So being as though this leg is so long, if we get a sweep, if we get a pullback and then a push back to the upside, we'd be potentially looking into some longs. We are currently in 15-minute and we're in a 5-minute bearish order block here. So with this new candle, we'll see if we try to inverse this 5-minute. So we're getting kind of some hesitation here, a little bit of so it looks like it may want to continue to the upside and sweep those highs. We're getting a lot of hesitation there. So it looks like we're going to sweep those highs, tap into that 80. So we've tapped into the New York Midnight Open, London High, and starting to reject as we close that new day opening gap. So now let's start to look for some inversions here. So we'll get rid of that there. Right there. That'll be our first presented. Well, not quite. This will be our first presented after this candle closure here. So now we're looking for some rejection and possible entry to get to the downside to those 8 a.m. lows. We have equal highs here. We have Asia high. It's a tough one here. It's a tough one. Maybe looking at a small pullback. We're starting to pull back, but I'm trying to look for some type of inversion. So I'm looking to see if we got any higher time frame inefficiencies that we can look off of. So we have a 1 hour here. This has been an area of rejection. So let's see if we inverse this gap here. If we inverse that gap, let me jab it short here. We got about 10 seconds left. And get this pull back. So we're going to jump into that short there. $29,095. So we're starting to pull back. There's a deep pullback there. Look like some highs being engineered. We may just get out of this trade and look for a better entry. $29,289. Put a stop loss there. Let's see if we can continue down. This is a kind of rangy. We are seeing that rejection. I'd like to continue to see that rejection off of this 1 hour inefficiency. And maybe a push down into these lows. Looking at a drawn liquidity being those Asia lows and prior day lows. We have these relative equal lows here to the downside, which is right at those 8 a.m. lows, which is a nice draw on liquidity. like to see some more push to the downside before that 950 macro to give us more of confidence of a delivery to the downside at that time. So we're rejecting off that midnight open fairly well. I'd still like to continue to see rejection below consummate encroachment of this 1 hour. So we may be looking at this 950 macro before we get full delivery to the downside, hoping that we can get a little bit more of a push before that. We got about 8 minutes before that 950. Looking at a little bit of a consolidation. The good thing is it's consolidating in a downward trajectory. We have sort of a bearish SMT where NQ took those highs and ES didn't. So it's a bit of a positive confluence in our favor. So just to take a look at ES here. Now we see here, just on the 1 minute, we see just a small bearish SMT where NQ took these highs and ES didn't. So that's kind of a bearish SMT just on the 1 minute. Oh, look at that push to the upside there. Wow, that was a big push to the upside. Maybe a stop hunt. That was a big push to the upside there. It may be trying to get us out of this trade and looking for better prices. Yeah, we're gonna get out of this trade. So right at those Asia highs, swept external liquidity. So now let's see if we can get some type of inversion. We have our 5-minute bullish fair value gap here. We still haven't quite inverted this 1 hour. Being this 1 hour candle would have to invert this, not just wick it. That's a big push to the upside there. So we swept these relative equal highs here. It's a major draw on liquidity. We're entering into this bearish order block. Starting to see some rejection. I want to see if we can, looking at this 1 minute bullish gap here, see if we can invert that gap. We can invert that gap, we'd be looking to get into shorts. We just got in a little bit too early on our prior entry. So we're just being patient here, looking to see if we can invert this 1 minute bullish fair value gap. Or as of now, it's respecting it. It may want to. We've already swept the highs. We've swept London. We've closed the new day opening gap. Swept Asia. So now we're just getting confirmation on this inversion. We have a 2 minute here as well. So we passed consummate encroachment of that bullish fair value gap. I want to try to get a body closure. We're going down. I'm going to jump in there. We're in that 950 macro. You should see some delivery to the downside. We jumped in with about 2 micros. I want to see if we get a body closure below that gap. Maybe I'll add. So we're getting a little bit of a pullback. Could be some manipulation leg on this 950 macro. Probably just jabbed it with the 2 micros. If it shows more of a bearish intent, we'll add to it. Maybe get a little bit better of a position. We have 930 here. So just being patient. We did jump in about 2 micros. Didn't fully body below this 1 minute fair value gap. Right, I think we may get out of this trade if I see it not pushing lower, because it looks like it may want to take this high again before going lower. We're in the right narrative, right direction, just a little bit early. Not sure if it wants to tap into that 1 hour fair value gap that's above us. We're going to go ahead and get out of this trade. Wait for a better entry. If it doesn't present itself, it may just be done for the day. So we just popped above those highs. We're starting to tap into that 1 hour fair value gap there. Got about 3 minutes to this new 1 hour candle. So we're tapping, and it looks like we're getting some resistance here at this 1 hour fair value gap. Got about 2 minutes left. So we got about a minute left until we get to this new hourly candle. Starting to see a little bit of rejection off there. So that new hourly open may see a pop, create that top wick, and then a push to the downside. This is prime area for reversal, being above that gamma. Here's that new hourly candle. I see a small pop to the downside. Maybe see if we're going to get this reversal or a continuation to the upside. So we're looking to see if we may possibly get this reversal. I'm not jumping into this short just yet, but it looks like we may be seeing a reversal to the downside at this 10 a.m. So maybe possibly looking into getting into this short, waiting to see if we get around that 300 area. Jump into this short or 1 micro. See if we can't get a dump here. So we're looking for a dump here. I want to see it pump down. We want to see it break down to the downside. Starting to get a little bit of a pullback. If we don't get if it doesn't fall, yeah, we're below our 20 simple moving average, below our 8. Looking at the draw on that 200, down here at the 930 open. Looking at the 930 as the draw. So we're looking to break this 88 area here. We get down below here. Our next area is this New York midnight open. Then if we break and close below there, and you should just start to see lower prices there. We got a lot of trend line liquidity here. A low resistance liquidity coming up here. So we went back up, tapped that 300 again. If we get back above that 300, we'll close this trade. But let's ride it down. Let's see if we can ride it down here. Let's get it on down. So we're back down below that 15-minute range. We're going to see starting to push down a little bit more there. I want to see just a little bit more to the downside. See if we can get it down there. Right at that midnight open. Waiting to see if we can get the full move to the downside here. We're going to pull our stop down here just to protect some profits. Kind of want to see just a nice big rejection to the downside. I don't want to drag it too fast. I'm going to put our stop back here, right above that there, just to cut risk a little bit. If it breaks back above there, we're invalidating this trade. But I want to get down. I want to hold this trade. and recoup some of those prior losses that we had this morning, holding it down to maybe that 9:30 open. There we go. There we go. Now we're gonna hold this short, but we're gonna pull our stops down. We're gonna pull our stops down and grab some of these profits. Lock in some of these profits. I don't like the trim. I like to get our full TP if we can get it down there, but we will put our stop loss here to protect some of these profits. Starting to hold there. We're holding. Oh, and we got stopped out there on the pullback. That's okay. But we get a nice pullback, and then looking to get into the re-entry on this short, increased our risk. Looking for a continuation to these equal lows here. Right there, these equal lows. See if we can get that push to the downside. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it down there. Let's get it down there. Let's get it down there. Don't want to see too much of a pullback here. I want to see more of a drop. We're getting into that area of resistance, but we should be able to tap those equal lows right at that 200 simple moving average. So we got pretty good profits on that first entry and exit there. It tapped us out on as we pulled our stop loss down in the profit. Now we're just looking for that continuation to the downside. Tap these equal lows. Tapping into that 200 simple moving average. Now it looks like we're starting to get our push to the downside. Just get a little bit more volume coming in. I mean, just a little bit more volume coming in here. Let's get that push. Let's get that push to the down. Let's get that fall. Is this what we want to see here? There we go. That's that push we're looking for. Just want to see more of a continuation. Just get those equal lows. That's what we're aiming for. 15-minute candles looking good. So we're looking good to get back to that midnight, to that 9:30 open as we look at the 15-minute chart. We should get a continuation down. Currently in a bullish 15-minute gap here. At least get the consummate encroachment of this 15-minute. get down, I'm going to see some continuation to the low side. I don't want to endure too much drawdown. So if we get back into the green, we at least want to get us down into these relative equal lows here. We should be able to take that. However, if we get down below these lows here, we're out. So we are pushing higher there. I don't like that push. This bit of a pullback. Let's see if we can endure this drawdown and then push lower. So here we're in premium. We want to get down here below discount. Should be at least good to this OTE area, that 15-minute leg. So that 29,208, which we left plenty of room. We're trying to take profit at 29,240. So after this pullback, at 15-minute discount, we should be good. But right now we're just experiencing a little bit of drawdown. Pullback is healthy if we want to see a continuation to the downside. We're in that area. We're now below gamma flip. The gamma zero changed, and after the open it moved a little higher, so we're below. So we're starting to see, we'll see a continuation of the momentum of the trend to the downside. However, you will see those unstable wicks because we are below gamma zero. But the draw is the put wall down here at the 29,000 area. So we just got to be a little patient here and not get shaken out of our trade because of the drawdown. So we're wicking below 50% of this 15-minute leg. Nice wick on top on that 15-minute candle. You just want to see more delivery to the downside. Let's get below this 20 simple moving average on the 15-minute chart. And there we go. That's that push to the downside. And we got full TP there on that. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. So we'll hang in there. We're fighting our way back. We got a little bit of got ourselves in a little bit of a hole this morning, entering a little bit early. We are on the right side of the trade, looking for those longs. We just kind of entered a little bit too early. I think ultimately we'll go down to this 930 open price, but we will be responsible with our entry. So right now, what I want to see is us still get below. Now we're below this 200 moving average. So now I think we're going to start seeing push to the downside there. So stop in a little bit more and we'll close it out there. Grabbed another quick 200. Now we're scalping. we have a green light on our strategy for shorts. Now it's up to our discretion as we get in and out. The strategy being we swept those 8 a.m. lows. Well, we swept those 8 a.m. highs. We swept those 8 a.m. highs, and now we're aiming for those 8 a.m. lows. We took liquidity on the upside, so we have the green light for those. So somehow, some way, I got my levels off here. 29,263. 29,263 on those highs. We swept those highs, and what's our low? 29,133, and there we go. Just had my highs. So we took those highs. We took those highs at the open. We shot straight up. We swept our liquidity, closed our new day opening gap, hit into Asia high, even tapped into a 1 hour fair value gap, which was a higher time frame PDA rate. So we satisfied all of our check boxes. We've checked all our boxes on our strategy for getting into shorts. We inversed some lower time frame fair value gaps. At first we didn't body here. We got in a little early here on the short, and it reversed back up on us, decided to take this high. Now it's starting to come back down. We finally inversed this 1 minute, and we're below our New York midnight open, and now we're starting to push lower. So now it's at our discretion to get into these shorts. We're trying to scalp our way. So I want to aim for 930, which is here. If we get below constant encroachment of this gap, then we may I may scalp down to our 930, which would be a 20-point trade, which is not too bad, not too shabby. We are getting some rejection because we are inside that gap. We're hitting that 15-minute OTE area. So it's the farther down we get, the lower probability our shorts get. Not sure if we want to get into any more shorts at this point. We're touching top constant encroachment of that area. Looking maybe to hit 930. So let's short it to that 930. Sure, we'll get it in there. Push it down. Let's push it down. Let's get it down there. All right, so we closed it out. Picked up another $100 on that short scalp there. So I think that'll do it for us today on these trades. We tapped that 930. That's what we wanted. I'm sure we may get down. We got some equal lows here, and ultimately our 8 a.m. lows. Let's look here on the 15. We got about 2 minutes left. If we invert this 15-minute fair value gap, we may open ourselves up for one more short down into these lows. We have Asia, and we have our first presented fair value gap, which is historically been a area of resistance. So, and it's been closing higher each time. So I don't want to test that too much. But if we invert this 15-minute gap, it'd be another 20 points. And we continue to dump here. It may leave us before it closes that candle. We got some equal lows down there. So if we close out on the day, we just close out the day for about 90 bucks in the red. Not too bad. You got to take your wins with your losses. We dug our way out of a hole. We got in just a little bit too early. Overall, we were on the correct side of the trade. Just our timing is just a little bit off. They wanted to sweep all those highs. That tells me that they wanted to complete all their objectives to the upside, telling me that we may see just a continuation of lower prices for the rest of this session. So we're getting a pullback, which is healthy. We got about 40 seconds left to the close of this 15-minute candle. Want to see if we get a body closure below that 15-minute fair value gap. If not, we may just hang it up for the day, because I need a little bit more confirmation before jumping into those high risk shorts, because we are in discount of the range. Other than that, we may start to see a reversal. And we're starting to see it kind of hang out. We did not close below that 15-minute fair value gap. A small wick at the closure of that previous candle, that 15-minute candle. So we could start to see a reversal. I'd like to see us get back up above these moving averages. When you see this 200 looking kind of flat here, if it breaks above it, you'll see it fly. Just gonna measure it out here. We're in discount of this leg. We did hit 930. See how it didn't go too far past that. Our target would be those 8 a.m. lows, but this has been an area of resistance. We failed to hit these relative equal lows here, so this is still a major draw that we could be looking at before going higher, if it does decide to go higher. So just looking to see what type of reaction we get off this area. We're in a bit of a consolidation. So from here, we're at right about 1030. So I want to see us touch this 200 simple moving average. We didn't invert this 15-minute fair value gap, which could tell us that we may be seeing some higher prices. On the 15-minute, we got a lot of accumulation. Some manipulation to the downside, then a distribution to the upside. So we could be seeing this distribution to the upside after we broke these highs as an indication of higher prices. Right now we're correcting, but once we get back up above these interior highs here, I'd see a reason to get into some longs. But in this area here, this little area here would be for me a no trade zone. So this little area here would be a no trade zone for me. So if we got up to this box and rejected, we could see lower prices. If we got up out of this box, maybe a retest, we'd see some continuation to the upside. But in here, inside this box, just a little bit too much, and we get some body closures outside of here. We're gonna make it body closures outside of there. Yeah, if we get a body close above here, then we start to see then we get some body closures below here. That's what I'd want to see. Right now we see a lot of accumulation. But I think that'll do it today. I think I'll go ahead and end the stream on that. We did pretty good. Took a few trades. Got in just a little bit too early on. Ultimately, we dug our way out. Ended the day with about $90 in the red. That's okay. That's part of trading. You got to learn how to take your losses and walk away. Overall, we didn't do too bad. But we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day and play it safe. See you tomorrow.